This EASB has been issued because a tail rotor blade departed the fenestron of an EC135 in flight. The helicopter landed without further incident. During the post-landing inspection, it was determined that the one blade had separated at its blade root. Further inspection revealed that small cracks may occur if the tail rotor blade has been attacked by intergranular corrosion. This EASB provides the information and instructions necessary to comply with the inspection requirements of the tail rotor blades. This video is an aid designed to supplement the EASB. There are 4 methods to comply with this EASB. This video will focus upon method B2, dye penetrant using the support tool. Of course, persons conducting this inspection shall be trained and qualified in accordance with their company and/or local authorities' requirements. Step 1. Read and understand the entirety of the EASB. Then, assemble all the necessary consumables and tools to accomplish the task, including the support tool. We also highly recommend obtaining and familiarizing yourself with all the applicable documents listed in Section 3.1 and 3.2 of the EASB located on page 14. Please note that most of the following steps may be accomplished at the same time on all affected blades. The inspection is only required on one side of the blade. As installed on the helicopter, it will be the left side. See Figure 2 on page 19 of the EASB. Additionally, the precise area to be inspected is defined with Figure 1 on page 18. Step 2. Clean all affected blades. We chose to use CM208. Step 3. Install the support tool. This tool is designed to apply the correct load to the blade when properly installed. Be careful not to apply any additional load on the tool or the blade once the tool is in place. See page 22 for additional information. The precise placement of the tool on the blade is very important. Detailed information may be found on page 23 and in Figure 4 on page 25. We will place the tool in position from the left side of the helicopter and ensure that the lowest portion of the tool contacting the blade is between 15 and 40 millimeters from the blade tip. The tool will always be installed on the blade, positioned at the bottom of its rotation, essentially the 6 o'clock position. Again, this positioning is very important. It will apply the proper load to the blade, and the tail rotor assembly itself should not rotate. You will see that the weighted portion of the tool does not contact the fenestron structure itself. Step 4. With the tool remaining in place, apply the penetrant with a brush to the affected area of the blade. You will recall this is Area 2 as specified in Figure 1 on page 18. This is the area which must be inspected. However, for simplicity of penetrant application, you may find it easier to cover a slightly larger area to ensure complete coverage. We must now wait 5 minutes with the penetrant applied and the tool in place. After the 5 minutes have elapsed, we can gently remove the tool and rotate the fenestron to place the tool on the subsequent blade, which is now in the 6 o'clock position. Remember, we must have the tool installed with penetrant applied for 5 minutes for each affected blade. We recommend using the tool on all affected blades in succession before moving to the next step. So after the last blade has had the tool installed and penetrant applied for 5 minutes, we can remove the support tool and set it aside. We are now finished with the tool. But remember, we must also wait a minimum of 15 minutes after application of the penetrant to move to the next step. This minimum time constraint should not be an issue unless you are only checking a few blades. Step 5. Clean the area we applied the penetrant to on each blade in succession. Be aware that ASTME 1417 recommends that the penetrant dwell time does not exceed 120 minutes. So we may begin cleaning no sooner than 15 minutes after the penetrant is applied, but should wait no longer than 2 hours. First, we will wipe the area with a clean, dry, white cloth to remove excess penetrant. Then, we will clean each area with the penetrant cleaner. Soak a white cloth with the cleaner, but not dripping wet. It is important to not overly saturate the cloth to avoid flushing the penetrant from any potential flaw. Wipe each area once, and only once, with the wet cloth. We must wait a minimum of 1 minute for the solvent to completely evaporate from each blade before applying the developer. But remember, we can proceed with each subsequent blade and complete this step and thus not waste time. Please refer to the instructions on page 26 and Figure 6 on page 30 for more details. Step 6. Apply the developer to each respective affected blade area. In order for the developer to be most effective, you must shake the can vigorously prior to use. We will apply a uniform layer of developer on the affected area. Keeping the nozzle between 100 and 150 millimeters should allow for the application of a thin white layer of developer. We must wait a minimum of 10 minutes after the developer is applied before beginning to evaluate each respective blade. Once again, we will carefully apply the developer to each of the other affected blades as we wait for the initial 10-minute period to elapse for the first blade. However, for the developer, we also have a maximum time of 120 minutes of dwell time. So the evaluation may be accomplished after the developer has been applied to a blade for a minimum of 10 minutes, but not to exceed 120 minutes. The actual inspection is detailed on page 27, paragraph 4.3.9 of the EASB, and the applicable image is shown in figure 6, 4.3.9 on page 30 as well. Be aware that the ambient lighting in this hangar is approximately 250 lux. With the use of a flashlight, we easily exceed the minimum requirement of 1000 lux. Finally, figure 5 on page 28 provides a process tree to detail how to proceed at any given step during the inspection process. After the completion of the inspection, please conduct a final cleaning as specified in section 4.3.10 on page 29. Should you have a blade which fails the inspection criteria, please follow the steps outlined on page 17, section 4.2.2.2.